Committee meeting of May the 6th. Thank you all for coming. Let it be noted that we have a quorum and all members are attending. With that, we will move on to public comment. Is there any public comment on items not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to approval of minutes. Okay, I think the motion was by Dave, seconded by Ron. All in favor? Aye. I think that was unanimous. Now we move on to the consent calendar.
Approval.
Okay, that was Dave Hudson, seconded by Kevin Romick. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any abstentions? Unanimous. With that, we are at agenda item number 6, which is an action item. Is there a staff report?
Yes, Madam Chair. Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Martin Engelman, Deputy Executive Director for Planning at the Contra Costa Transportation Authority, here to tell you about initiation of the 2017 Regional Transportation Plan and the call for projects that we plan to do over the next couple of months. By way of background, the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, MTC, is required to develop and adopt a regional transportation plan every 4 years. The last RTP was adopted in 2013, and the next RTP is due for adoption in 2017. MTC's last RTP, called T2040, included a financially constrained project list based upon a set of financial assumptions that establish an overall revenue forecast for the Bay region of $292 billion in year of expenditure dollars. The revenue forecast assumed federal highway and transit programs continuing in their current form and growing annually by about 3%, that funding sources, primarily fuel tax-based, maintain their structure and distribution, that bridge toll revenues continue to be collected, and a $1 increase would be implemented in 2019, that local revenues, sales tax, primarily TDA and AB 1107, will grow at a rate that's consistent with demographic and economic growth forecasts, that county and transit district transportation sales taxes will continue through 2040, and that means that Measure C would be renewed in 2034 and continue through 2040, that transit operator revenue will continue to flow, high-speed rail will get $3 billion, and cap and trade will generate $3 billion. All of those assumptions went into the last RTP, the 2013 RTP, and from that it was determined that the Bay region had $232 billion in committed funding and $60 billion in so-called discretionary funding, adding up to the 292 number. Committed funding is already designated by law to a specific purpose. MTC doesn't have much discretion in where it goes. Discretionary revenues, on the other hand, are available for assignment to projects or programs through MTC by its regional transportation plan. The big challenge with the last RTP was where will that $60 billion in discretionary funding go? And MTC made those decisions in 2012, assigning discretionary revenues to projects and programs that support the plan. A lot of that money, 74%, went to maintaining the roads, our bridges, and our transit system. 7% went to roadway expansion and 14% went to transit expansion. For the 2017 update, the horizon year stays the same. It's still going to be 2040. Consequently, the financials aren't expected to change very much. But that doesn't mean that the 2017 RTP is a repeat of 2013. MTC has clearly stated that it is going to open up the 2013 RTP, revise the demographic forecasts, the revenue forecasts, and revisit the investment decisions. So we have a lot of work to do. Consequently, the item before you tonight basically kicks off the process by asking the regional transportation committees, what are your priorities and what has changed since the last time we did this? We plan to go out to the RTPCs in May and ask them to review priorities. We hope to hear from them by July 24th. The letter in your packet provides a draft of the instructions we plan to give to the RTPCs. We're saying to them, tell us your projects for the future. And we're not just confining the RTP to constricted fund estimate. We're asking for vision projects as well, vision projects being unfunded at this time, and that will help us start to identify projects for the Measure J renewal expenditure plan. Once we receive all the information from the RTPCs, we'll process it and send it over to MTC in September. In turn, MTC will begin a new process evaluating each project based upon a new set of performance measures that they're currently formulating. So tonight, we ask that you recommend to the authority approval of release of the call for projects for the 2017 RTP as shown in attachment B. This concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for your well thought out and concise presentation. Are there any questions?
Move.
Okay. And it sounded like that was from the audience, but
Karen moved.
Karen,
Hudson
sorry.
seconded.
And who seconded?
Hudson.
Hudson. Okay. So seconded first by Karen, seconded by Dave Hudson. All in favor, please. Actually, is there any? Are there any comments from the audience? Seeing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any objections, abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. We are on to item number 7. Is there a staff report?
Yes.
Just lost my agenda.
Okay, good evening, committee members. My name is Stephanie Hu, Associate Engineer with the Authority. I'm here to provide some information about Cycle 2 of the Active Transportation Program, or ATP. ATP is a funding opportunity for projects that encourage active modes of transportation, such as biking and walking. The California Transportation Commission issued a call for projects for ATP Cycle 2 on March 26, and the Cycle 2 will cover fiscal year 17 to fiscal year 19. Based on fund estimates, there will be approximately $120 million per year for Cycle 2, with $72 million going to the statewide program and the remaining $48 million going to the regions in the state. MTC anticipates $10 million per year for our region. Applicants can apply for both the statewide and regional programs. The applications are due on June 1st. In order to boost the number of projects that receive funding from ATP in the Contra Costa County area, and to provide support to the locals in completing the very detailed ATP application, CCTA is offering technical assistance to 2 project applications for each RTPC. Staff visited and worked with the technical advisory committees at each RTPC in April to identify the 2 projects that are going to receive assistance. Very quickly, from WICTAC is City of San Pablo, Memorial Complete Streets, Contra Costa County's Fred Jackson Way First Mile, Last Mile Connection. From Transpac County's pedestrian bridge at Las Juntas Elementary School, and Concord's Oak Grove Complete Street Phase 2. From Transplan Pittsburgh's Railroad Avenue EBART Multimodal Transfer Facility Project, and County's SR4 Bailey Road Off-Ramp Pedestrian Safety Improvements. And SWAT's Lafayette Pleasant Hill Road Complete Street Project, and Moraga's Moraga Way Bicycle and Pedestrian Improvements. Paul Fassinger from CTP Planning and Economics has been making progress in assisting these 8 project sponsors on their applications. And separate from these 8 projects, staff is working with project designer to develop application for the McCollum Trail Bicycle Pedestrian Overcrossing Project at State Route 4. We're hoping through the technical assistance, our region can receive more funding from the ATP Cycle 2. If you have any more questions, I'm happy to answer.
Any questions? Okay. Are there any questions from?
It's an informational.
Okay. Are there any questions from the audience? It just says for information only, I believe.
Yeah.
Does anybody have an opinion about it? I mean, we can, if you would like to make a motion like that, Karen, you're welcome. And who was the second? Dave Hudson. Okay, so motion by Karen, seconded by Dave Hudson. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any objections, any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Now we move on to item number 8. Is there a staff report?
There is, in fact. Good evening, Chair and committee members. In May of 2012, the authority allocated $1 million to the Northwest Walnut Creek Bicycle and Pedestrian Access Project. That project would add bicycle and pedestrian improvements along Buena Vista Avenue from Geary down to Parkside, and then on Parkside and Hillside to the Walnut Creek BART station that have to go underneath I-680, and some safe routes to school improvements around the Buena Vista Elementary School. In April of last year, you approved Resolution 1433G, which appropriated $85,000 for the design of the project. The City of Walnut Creek is now requesting the remaining $915,000 for the actual construction of the project. The Buena Vista Avenue and Buena Vista Elementary School projects will be completed this year, and the Buena Vista Elementary project will start as soon as the school year ends. The Hillside and Parkside project will have to wait until next year because they need to get an encroachment permit from Caltrans to do the work underneath 680. So tonight we're asking you to approve the adoption of Resolution 1520G, which would appropriate that $915,000 for the City of Walnut Creek. With that, I'll try to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions from committee? Okay, not seeing any. Move on to comments from the committee. Any comments from the committee? Seeing none, are there any comments from the audience? I think we're ready for a motion, if someone would like to make one. Okay. Okay. So this time it's Dave Durant and seconded by Kevin Romick. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. I believe there is no other business. You have one other business?
Just as a comment, because it happened today, and Karen and I were both there, on the mobile source for the Air District was asked to move that pilot bike share program over to MTC, give all the whatever the thing is that we're doing to Motivate. The name of the company is Motivate. We balked a little bit at Mobile Source. Scott Haggerty, as he will do, said, wait a minute, we spent $7 million plus for this pilot program in San Francisco. San Francisco benefited from it greatly. We all did, actually. And now they want to take us over and pour 7,000 bikes to this Motivate. That's a considerable jump. And he said, what about the rest of us that are out there that want to do something? I brought up the Pleasant Hill to Pleasanton idea on the bikes. Scott, to his credit, said, I could accept this if you put $4.5 million from MTC to, what did he call it? Emerging communities. We're emerging community. It made it through the Air District today, so if MTC approves this, there's supposedly $4.5 million for us to go after. And if they don't, supposedly it comes back to Mobile Source. Not supposedly, it does. Yeah, there was a big battle about that. So just, if you would, keep your eyes and ears open, because my point was Motivate's using public money. We have Bishop Ranch that's using private money. What if Pleasant Hill and Pleasanton and Walnut Creek and their business parks like Shadelands wanted to use the same company, Bike Bright or Bright Bike or something like that, and they're on Clipper Card? I mean, what is going to is Motivate or Motivational or whoever the name of that company, I forget, are they going to balk at it? Because the idea is we want the project or the program working. So just if you would, keep your ears and eyes open, because I think this thing's not done yet.
Thank you. Is there any other business? Seeing none, I don't see any news clippings in correspondence. And we are now adjourned to the next meeting, which will be held on June the 3rd at 6 p.m. Thank you all for coming.